Hi, Tony DeWitt here, Missouri appellate attorney and a guy who likes to make the law make sense on YouTube. Well, it's another case of lawyers behaving badly. And this one comes to us from the state of Texas. So let's get into this. I should lay a little groundwork first. And essentially, you have to understand how the rules work within the legal profession for how lawyers get new clients. Now, it's perfectly acceptable for a lawyer to put an advertisement in TV or radio or what used to be the back of the phone book. Nobody uses a phone book anymore. They look everything up on Google. But it's perfectly appropriate to put ads on Google and other places about your fabulous law firm in the hopes that somebody who needs your services will find you. And it's okay to run a TV ad. Have you been struck by a meteor? It might be somebody else's fault. Come see us. Well, the problem with that is, of course, it demeans the legal profession, and the people who need to advertise, probably not the people you really want to go see. I'm just saying, if you got to run ads to attract business, that means that other lawyers don't recognize your expertise and aren't sending you business. So just kind of keep that in mind. A little tip there for when the day comes when you do need to go get a lawyer. As a result of that, there is a rule against soliciting clients. This is Rule 7.3 of the American Bar Association, and it talks about solicitation of clients. Now, it's probably a little different in Texas, and it's probably a little different in every state. Every state kind of makes tweaks to these rules, but these are the rules that new lawyers study before they take the multi-state exam on professional responsibility. So let's look at what 7.3 says. It says solicitation or solicit denotes a communication initiated by or on behalf of a lawyer that is directed to a specific person the lawyer knows or reasonably should know needs legal services in a particular matter and that offers to provide or reasonably can be understood as offering to provide legal services for that matter. A lawyer shall not solicit professional employment by live person-to-person contact when a significant motive of the lawyer doing so is the lawyer or law firm's pecuniary gain, unless the contact is with 1. A lawyer, or 2. A person who has a family, close personal, or prior business or professional relationship with a lawyer or law firm, or 3, person who routinely uses for business purposes the type of legal services offered by the lawyer. A lawyer shall not solicit professional employment even when not otherwise prohibited by paragraph B if the target of the solicitation has made known to the lawyer a desire not to be solicited, the solicitation involves coercion, duress, or harassment. This rule does not prohibit communications authorized by law or ordered by a court or other tribunal. Notwithstanding the prohibitions in this rule, a lawyer may participate in a prepaid or group legal services plan operated by an organization not owned or directed by the lawyer that uses live person-to-person contact to enroll members or sell subscriptions for the plan for persons who are not known to need legal services in a particular matter covered by the plan. Well, the ABA rule certainly gives you an indication of what lawyers should not do generally, but Texas goes even further than that. In the Texas Penal Code, there is Section 38.12, Barratry and solicitation of professional employment. So here's what the statute says. A person commits an offense if, with intent to obtain an economic benefit, the person knowingly institutes a suit or claim that the person hasn't been authorized to pursue, which is pretty rare, but 2, solicits employment either in person or by telephone for himself or for another. Pays, gives, or advances or offers to pay, give, or advance to a prospective client money or anything of value to obtain employment as a professional from the prospective client. Pays or gives or offers to pay or give a person money or anything of value to solicit employment. Texas seems pretty adamant that they want the client to come to the lawyer, not have the lawyer go to the client. And I think that's important. And as a result, I think that when you violate that, it's the penal law of the state of Texas, you have an expectation that you're going to be in trouble for that. Now, if you go on Google, you can find lots of instances of lawyers in Texas being prosecuted for Barratry. And the way it usually works is they will hire somebody called a case runner. Now, a case runner is somebody who goes out. A lot of times what they do is they approach ambulance technicians, paramedics, medics, firemen, police officers, that kind of thing. The people who you might well expect to be at the scene of an accident. And hand out business cards and say, hey, you know, when the next time you guys see a fairly serious accident where somebody's really hurt, I'd really appreciate, you know, you slipping in my name or, you know, slipping me their name so that I can contact them. And that's absolutely against the law. I would assume that most law enforcement officers in Texas know that. So it'd probably be pretty stupid to approach a cop, but people do it anyway. And you know, everybody can use an extra $50, and if somebody says they're going to pay you $50 to just give them the names of accident victims, and you have nothing in your code of employment that prevents you from doing that, well, you're probably going to give that information out, and that's essentially what happens. So the case runner gets a call from a cop and says, hey, you know, John Doe was involved in a car accident. And it happened this morning, 10 a.m. It was at, you know, I-10 and Commerce Street in San Antonio. And as a result, this person was really badly hurt. They went to the hospital. Here's the patient's name from the accident report. And here's the guy who hit him, and he was driving recklessly. There's probably a good case here. The case runner will then approach the patient in the hospital. A lot of times what they'll do is they will simply go in with a basket of flowers and set it on their bedside table. And on the basket of flowers will be a card that says compliments of, you know, the Oh Boy Dewey Cheatham and Howe law firm. And, you know, if you need any legal services, please feel free to contact us. Sometimes it's even more direct than that. They'll go in and they say, wow, man, you look like you're really in pain. You ought to get some money for this. Sign up here and we'll get you some money. And that is completely over the top. And then there are some of these case runners who do it independently. So they'll pick up a really bad accident with multiply injured people, and they'll sign up 4 or 5 of them, and then they'll start calling law firms. Hey, I've got 4 potential clients for you. What's in it for me? Oh, you know, we'll pay you $200. Nah, it's not enough. I need 10% of the ultimate verdict or $1,000. Well, we're not going to pay you that. So he moves on to the next one. And sure enough, somewhere down the line, he's going to find somebody who's going to pay him a lot of money for those 4 clients. And now both of them have committed Barratry. And as a result, when that happens, and it oftentimes comes out in depositions. And the way it comes out in depositions is somebody will say, tell me how you met your lawyer. And the client, without thinking, even after they've been coached not to say this, will say, well, you know, they came to me in the hospital and they told me they could get me some money. Well, now their case just got a lot less valuable because their lawyer is probably guilty of Barratry. Those are the kinds of things that happen. They're not pretty. That's not what should happen. The rules, the ethical rules, and the statute are designed to prevent that very thing, but it happens. And when it happens, people do tend to be prosecuted. This is from 2014, but here you have a Houston attorney indicted on 18 ambulance chasing charges. You notice that the media doesn't use the term Barratry because nobody knows what that means. And here's a really smart-looking guy who does plead guilty to the offense of Barratry. The media got this one right, and they basically found him acting as a case runner and soliciting clients and that sort of thing, and he pled guilty, and he was eventually sentenced for that crime. And then sometimes the federales get involved. This is a 21-count superseding indictment unsealed for conspiracy, witness tampering, obstruction of justice, and multiple tax violations. And it says Houston personal injury attorneys Jeffrey Stern, Deborah Bradley, and Richard Plezia are charged with conspiracy and tax violations, along with legal assistant Frederick Morris and clinic owner Lamont Ratcliffe. Stern is also charged with witness tampering and obstruction of justice. The charges against Stern and his alleged co-conspirators stem from a long-running criminal scheme to evade taxes. Stern also allegedly obtained his personal injury cases through Barratry, the illegal practice of soliciting law firm clients by paying kickbacks to middlemen known as case runners. Stern and his co-conspirators sought to enrich themselves by illegally recruiting clients through the payment and receipt of illegal kickbacks in order to generate personal injury cases and legal fees according to the charges. And here is the end of what happened in that indictment. In February of 2023, a 56-year-old Houston resident was found guilty on multiple counts related to complicated tax fraud schemes. That was the attorney Richard Plezia. He was convicted for conspiracy, as well as 2 counts of making false statements and falsification of a record, following a month-long trial and approximately 8 hours of deliberation. I can tell you that justice was served, and the professionalism of our special agents from the start of the case to the testimony during the trial is a testament to the outstanding work of the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. So essentially what they did was they had a complex tax fraud scheme where they funneled over $500,000 through business accounts from attorney Jeffrey Stern. The money was given to a case runner by the name of Marcus Esquivel, from whom Stern was illegally purchasing personal injury cases. So what's the purpose of this video? The purpose of this video is to let you know that if you are solicited by an attorney, it's probably not something that should happen under your state law, and especially if you're in Texas, it's not something that should happen. Now, there is an exception to when someone can approach someone without them being a client, without it actually being solicitation. Let me give you an example of when it is appropriate to talk to people that are not clients and later on have them wind up becoming clients. I was involved in a nursing home case against an entity called Clay West and its parent corporation called American Healthcare Management. This was in the St. Louis area, and they operated a number of nursing homes, including one in St. Charles. The nursing home in question was at fault for basically stopping feeding this poor lady, and she wound up dying while my client had taken a short trip across the pond to see some people in England. And when she came back, her mother was dead, and she was very upset. She contacted me. She had gotten my name from an article I had written, I believe. And so I went to look, and I said, is there anybody else who can, verify what you're telling me, that they're not changing these linens, that they're not feeding these people, or that they're not doing the things that they're supposed to do according to the admission contract. And she said, oh yeah, I want you to talk to, we'll call her Jane. I want you to talk to Jane. Her grandmother is a patient here. So I talked to her, and so they all started talking amongst themselves, and pretty soon I had 8 cases. Now, I didn't go and solicit them to be clients. They came to me and wanted to be clients after they knew that I was actually going to go after the nursing home. And eventually, we went after the nursing home, and after we got through, we turned over our evidence to the U.S. attorney, and the U.S. attorney went after the nursing home and the healthcare corporation, and they were barred from providing care for Medicare patients after that. So if someone approaches a lawyer while they're investigating a case and says, hey, I have a case just like that, that's okay, because you're not there talking to them in order to solicit them. You're there talking about information that you want so that you can get this information and prosecute the case that you're already hired on. And if that results in another case, well, that's okay, because you were doing an investigation. But where the law firms really get in trouble is when they actually go out and hire these people to do this kind of stuff. That kind of thing never stays secret for very long. And when the right people hear about it, they do take action and try and clean that stuff up, as you just saw in some of those articles. At any rate, I would urge you, if you were ever contacted by an attorney with the aim of getting you to sign up and be their client, I would not engage them. Now, there is another, I guess you could say another exception, if they are putting together a class action and they contact you because you are in the class. You know, maybe somebody who brought a specific brand of car and they call you and they say, you know, do you want to opt into this class or stay out of it? Certainly that's okay too. Not every contact from a lawyer is a solicitation, but every solicitation from a lawyer probably violates either an ABA rule or, as in Texas, a statute against the thing of Barratry. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, you know, all the things we ask you to do. And if you would, please take a moment today to do something nice for someone. It really does make the world a better place. Thanks for watching, and catch me down here at the beach again next time. If you like this video, here are a few others you might try, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a terrific day, guys.